Hello, my love. It's Kat. Welcome to the show. Welcome to episode 13. This episode is going to be a little bit different. I want you to imagine that we're just sitting on the couch, having a heartfelt conversation, sister to sister, friend to friend, coach to client. If you haven't noticed, things are a little bit different for this episode because we have new, exciting news. And I'll be sharing this with you at the end. But I wanted to tell you why we're changing things up here. And I want to make sure and share this part of the journey with all of you. But before I begin, could you do me a favor? Could you head over to catcantrill.com, so CATCANTRILL, yes, two L's.com, and subscribe to the email list because there's going to be a lot of new things headed your way. And I want to make sure that you're the first to know. So make sure and head over to catcantrill.com and subscribe to the email list because I am very excited for this new direction. And I wanted to give you some backstory of what today's episode is all about. So there's been a few things that have been happening these last couple of weeks. And one of the things that I realized, I made this Instagram post that was talking about my struggles of being a single mom, going through the divorce and being a single mom and being able to find love. And it really resonated with a lot of you. In fact, I find that these posts on Instagram, the more transparent and upfront I am about my own journey, the better. And I think that this is an important conversation for us women to have with each other because we are so addicted to making sure we're putting the best of the best out in front, that we don't talk about our struggles that we face. And so I think it's really important to have those conversations. And between that post and the meeting I had with my amazing, incredible coach, I had a strategy session with her almost 2 weeks ago. And I'm a firm believer that coaches need coaches, therapists need therapists, doctors need doctors. As a coach, I think it's important to be coached, and there's a lot that you can learn by being a client. And not only that perspective, but we as women are so emotionally driven to the decisions that we make in our personal and professional lives that we get really attached to them. We just hold them on for dear life. And when we have a coach that comes in and offers us this perspective that we never would have been able to see for ourselves, that is so priceless. And those are the types of experiences that I try to create with my own clients, which is leading me into what I want to tell you all about today. So today's episode is talking about my journey. So a combination of what my coach and I discussed and my own personal journey, which is leading me into the new direction of the show. But I think it's important, just like that Instagram post, I think it's important for me to share with you as a listener of a little bit of where I've been. And so just sit down and grab your drink of choice. If you need to, go ahead and pause this one, or maybe you're working out, or maybe you're walking the dog, wherever you're at. I'm just going to share a little bit of my heart with you. And hopefully you can see some of your life in my story and just know that there's hope. So I moved here. I'm currently in Iowa, and I moved here with my husband back in 2006. We had already reconciled our marriage once, and I was super excited for these new beginnings that I was going to be getting with my husband and with my children, a new community, a new state, a new job, all of the newness. And I'm sure that you can see a little bit of yourself, where you've picked yourself up and put yourself in different communities or different states or different jobs, in hopes that you will see the change, that the change will make an impact on your issues. But what we don't realize is that those issues just don't ever really go away. In late 2006, I was extremely unhappy. And to make a long story short, I'm not going to make today's episode about that. And maybe I will in the future. But I was extremely unhappy, and I decided to file for divorce. I left my husband, I grabbed my 2 kids, and we moved into a tiny 2-bedroom apartment. My ex-husband was really the only real boyfriend I had, true boyfriend, meaning long-term boyfriend. And I met him when I was 19, and I found myself 33 years old, going through a divorce. My children were small. They were 6 and 9 at the time, and trying to pick my life back up. The divorce lasted way too long. It was a year and a half long. And so finally, by January of 2009, I was divorced. What nobody talks about is that your identity is not based off of whether or not you're in a relationship. So I found myself throwing myself back into relationships because there was so much pressure, especially here in the Midwest, where we feel that if we're not in a relationship, that there's something wrong with us. In fact, people actually say that to us, right? And I'm sure if you've been single, that if you haven't been in a relationship, that someone's like, well, what's wrong with you? And we have that fear, not only the insecurity of being a divorced single mom of 2, but not being in a relationship. So I found myself throwing myself back into dating, running into bad relationship, in hopes of finding the love that I lacked in my marriage. And I remember saying to myself, well, this is the right thing to do because I haven't had love in my life for a really long time. And so it has to be there for me. I know it has to be there. And I was getting pressure that I was getting older. And I was getting pressure because what type of role model was I going to have for my children? Because my ex-husband left the state. So much pressure of finding somebody that I found myself not even knowing who I was. I would go on dates and they would ask me what my hobbies were. I didn't have any because I did nothing but date, work my corporate job, and take care of my 2 children. And I was miserable. I was convinced either there was something wrong with me or that all men were horrible. And this was just the life that I was going to have. Or all the good men were taken. I'm sure you ladies you've heard that before. I was making excuses for poor behavior, for my poor behavior, for their poor behavior. I was going on dates I should have never gone on. I had major issues with setting boundaries. I had no place to be dating, but I felt that that's what I was supposed to do. It wasn't until I had my last relationship, and it was in 2011. So I went through this for a couple of years, right? It's like, and I'm sure my chronic daters out there, it's like as soon as you have potential and you're like, oh, nope, that doesn't work. Then you go ahead and you sign back on and you're on multiple apps and you're seeking and you're finding that the same people are on all of the same apps. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. I realized that the dialogue that I was having with myself, which was true love doesn't exist, It isn't for me. I will never find it. I don't deserve it. Real love is hard work. The right person doesn't exist for me. I was even convinced that the person wasn't even in Iowa, that they were somewhere else. I had consistently been putting out all of this negativity when it came to love. And I had to have a sit down conversation with myself after that last relationship ended. I said to myself, what are you doing? Who are you? What do you stand for? What are your interests? What do you want to do with your life? Because I found that I was purposely withholding experiences and things that I wanted to do for me in hopes of this magical relationship that was going to come my way. It wasn't until I had these very uncomfortable conversations with me where I said, what are you doing with your life? That I stopped dating altogether. I realized that I had such negative feelings towards love that I needed to find love again for me first. I didn't like who I'd become. I didn't know who I was anymore. Yes, I was successful. Yes, I was working my corporate job. I was raising my kids. They were amazing. They were doing great in school. I was doing all of the things that I was supposed to be doing. But was I? And in 2011, I stopped all dating and said, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in a year from now? What are your dreams? And it actually was New Year's Eve of 2011 that I said, enough is enough. You're going to create your own life for you, your own love life towards yourself. And the Midwest doesn't really stand for that. I know that it's 2021, but still, there's still amazing god awful pressure for women to be in relationships. And I had realized that I was settling. I realized that I was making excuses for poor behavior, not seeing all the red flags. And I needed to figure out why all that was. What was I doing? What was I not seeing? And I had to go on this journey of figuring out who I was. And I decided that I wanted to live my passion. I wanted to get back to the woman I once was. I wanted to have love in my life. And instead of putting it on this pedestal as if I could never find it, I decided, you know what? I'm going to create it for me. And that's exactly what I did. I used dance as a tool to fall in love with myself again, to open the door for other women to fall in love with themselves again, to understand their true potential, to understand my true potential, what I was capable of. And the more I was loving myself, the more I realized that love did exist. Because here's what I didn't notice, and maybe you can, I just kind of sit with this for just a moment. So when we're throwing out all the negative, like it doesn't exist or it isn't for me, we're saying all these things about love, we're actually telling our brains to seek that out as confirmation. So when you say something like all men are horrible and you have these horrible experiences with men, then your brain goes, see, it's right. You're right. All men are horrible. Or you're having bad date after bad date after bad date. And you're like, well, true love doesn't exist for me. Or the good guy's already taken. Your brain goes, yep, see all these horrible dates you've had? That's absolutely right. When we take a step back and we say, okay, I am deserving of true love. True love does exist. There is somebody out there for me. But instead of waiting and putting my life on hold in hopes to find this person, I'm going to live my own reality and what I want in my own life. And that's what I did. And I was loving myself and loving the woman I was becoming. I was understanding what those boundaries were. I was seeing those red flags, and I was, those conversations of going, what's wrong with you? I actually had a date tell me, you must have a tail. Yes, there must be something wrong with you. You must have a tail or something. And I remember saying, I'm choosing to be single because I realized that the love that I deserved, that I wasn't ready for it, because I wanted to present myself to that future person the way that I would want them to present themselves to me. That whoever that future person was for me, I owed it to them to be the very best version of myself. Living my truth and my calling and knowing who I was and knowing what my interests were and knowing what I was deserving of. And that's what I did. And finally, in 2014, I decided I'm ready. I believe in love. I know it's there for me, and I'm ready to give it a try. And long story short, I hopped online, and 2 weeks later, Brian, Brian, who's my partner, fell into my life, and we are still together 7 years later. And I'm telling you this story because all of these years of coaching women, helping women dance in their lives, talking with my coach, it all came together. Everything in my life that has led me to this point, all of the coaching that I've done in these single women's lives, helping them find true love, helping myself find true love, that this is what I'm called to do. I am a love coach. That's who I am. And I feel called to help my single women find true love. I know I can do it. I know I can do it for you. And I've done it in my own life, and I have coached thousands of women. But in particularly my single women, I have guided them on the journey of finding true love in their lives. And so that's my big announcement, is that I am your love coach, and I am making it my life's mission to help my single, high achieving women find true love. And this show is going to be geared towards my single women. All the topics that we're going to bring here are going to revolve around the things that affect my single women the most. And I think that we need to continue this dialogue to have us have these conversations with each other so that you understand you're not alone. That on the outside in, you have that Instagram life, but you know that you are deserving of more, but maybe you don't know where to begin. And you've tried all of these things. And as your coach, I just want to tell you that it's there. But just like how my coach has done for my life and offered me perspective and just a little bit of a shift in what I'm doing, I can also do that for you. So, what do you think? I am so excited about this new direction, and I am excited to help my beautiful single high achieving women, helping you find true love, helping you, guiding you so that you can live this life of love because you're deserving of it. And to help you with that mindset of understanding that it's there. It is there for you. So, what can you do? Make sure and go subscribe, be a part of my email list, katcantrill.com. Or if you are a single high achieving woman who's been listening to this and you're like, okay, I'm ready. Maybe you've tried all the dating apps and maybe you've tried a dating coach in the past. Maybe you're ready for a new direction in your life. I am your woman and I would be honored to be your love coach. So all you have to do is go to katcantrill.com, and up at the top it says work with me, and you just apply to work with me, and let's get you on the path of true love, because it's there. We just need to have you shift that mindset just a little. All right, my love, thank you for being here. I'm super excited to be on this new journey with you. And thank you again for all of your love and encouragement and watching me pivot one last time in this incredible journey of life. So thank you again, and I will see you all next time. Bye.